Yo, 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 yo. Hi, guys. I'm getting my drink ready. Get a little snack around me. I'm gonna tell you. If you're here, if you can hear me, if you haven't done so already, make sure you get a drink ready. I got some tequila. That's how deep this stuff is. I also have randomly some vodka. Mm. I'm coming ready deep. Station my toilet right now. Hey squad, Melly B was good. If you guys can hear me, oh, you already go. Hey, I'm randomly finishing up this random ass snack, guys. So one of the neighborhoods I teach in, it's a Polish neighborhood in New York. It's Greenpoint. Greenpoint, if you guys don't know, it's um I didn't know this, but Greenpoint has some really deep Polish roots in it. Like that, it is like little Poland. The bakeries change lives. Like I don't want to get store-bought bread anymore because those Polish bakers mm, 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 tell you about your whole life. So we'll give people a bonus 2 minutes and then I'll get started. We'll get chatting. So today, I should probably finish before I talk. That's rude. Hi, Karen. Just to make sure everything is good, if you can hear me, type penis in the chat section, please. And I'll know if you can hear me because I won't see penis. So again, um, I know there's a little bit of a time delay. So again, if you can hear me right now, type penis in the chat section. Just to make sure we're good first, and then we'll get started in a minute or so. It won't let you. Oh, that's a hater. Oh hell no. Wait, can I type penis? Penis for all. You know what? I'm just excited you guys can hear. So I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty cool. If it won't let you type, it says, oops, see, that's a hater. They just wanted to, this is the definition of cock block, guys. Like the ultimate definition of cock block. It won't let you type it. Oh my gosh. I got 2 bites left. All right, how are we doing here? The other people are, ooh, mm-mm. Oh wow. You know what? I wonder if because you guys, I wonder if because I'm hosting the webinar that I can type all kinds of ignorant shit. That's what I'm gonna assume is that it won't let you do that because it thinks that we're grown adults and that I'm a grown adult leading this. You know I'm not. So let's get it on and popping, kids. It's 8:02. We'll have other people coming in. Hello, hello, hello. That's right. Break those rules, Melly. Break the rules. So what's up, guys? My name is Roz the Diva. Welcome to, this is probably got to be number 4 or 5 at least of one of my webinars. Probably 5 or 6. I don't know. I am welcome to Casa de Diva. This is my couch. This is where we're rocking out. Thanks for coming in, tuning in. So if you haven't been a part of these webinars before, they're pretty casual. First thing you need to do is get yourself a beverage. Tonight's cocktail, I had not enough, but I had just a bit of tequila left. So it's tequila with some blueberry lemonade and a little bit of seltzer from my soda stream. Yeah, it's a win. Definitely not enough tequila though, but that's all right. So I might have to, the second drink, if we get there, I might have to switch to the bourbon because you know how I feel about dark liquor. Number 2, I love and I thrive off of your questions and your comments. So what I'd like to do for the first like 15-20 minutes or so is I'm going to sort of give you some open babble. So this will give you something for you to make comments on and question. And this chat box that you're looking at, and it should be just to the right of my fabulous face, I believe. This is the place if you guys have any, if you have any links, you want to say something that is going to be helpful for other people, or shit you just want to throw out there, go ahead and do that right there. Some of the most valuable information doesn't even come from me. It comes from you guys. So you're very welcome to do that. I don't know why I'm wearing a hood inside, I guess because this is supposed to be a hoodless sweatshirt, but it's too hot for me to wear a hood. If it's hot enough for me to wear a sleeveless shirt outside, I don't know, Forever 21, I don't know. But it's cute. So tonight's topic of female self-esteem. Man, this is a meaty one. There are more layers, there are more complexities than we could ever tackle in a lifetime. And just to put it out there, I am not claiming to be a psychiatrist, psychologist, anybody with MD, any crazy super special person who knows more about this than other people. I'm a regular ass chick athlete, just like some of you guys out there. And what I have found through different ways that I've been involved in athletics, between being an athlete, competing, and producing competitions, is that body dysmorphia is a plague. It is not a sickness. It is not something we should be concerned about. It is an absolute plague. And we've got to do something about that. What we do to fix that plague, I don't know. This is also called the $1 million question. But I think at least starting to talk about this and this subject is, if that's what I can do to contribute to its demise, then I'll go ahead and do that. I also want to talk about the subject because it's deeply personal to me, because people, they see me as a beacon of confidence and body self-love, and that I am sure of myself physically. And of course, I've got to be confident because I run around naked all the time, at least on the internet. But nothing could be farther from the truth. You know, what people see as confidence or a confident act, I just see as just stuff I did. You know, and there's plenty of reasons and excuses that I've given myself as to why I'm not confident. I don't deserve to be confident myself. So, damn, I guess maybe we'll start with some of those. See, I got hot in the hood already. So, my personal experience with self-esteem and with athletics in particular, the groundwork for my feelings started very early, early as in like second and third grade, and like so many other people out there, I have very clear memories of being the last person picked for gym teams. And this was not something that happened once or twice. This perpetuated itself for years. And I'm not talking about some overweight kid who couldn't do anything, who was super, well, I was super nerdy. Nobody liked, like, I had friends. Academics were fine, everything was fine, but when I was younger, I just running, not just running, but playing sports. I was never considered like, oh my gosh, I want you on my team. It was, I'll take you because there's no one else, and we can't have the broom be a goalie. So, it got etched in my head, and even before I knew how damaging it was etched in my head that I was not valuable or not really that valuable in sports. And it didn't anger me because I saw that theory get proven. Not just with not being picked in sports, but when I was picked and I was part of a team, there'd be times where I'd be so scared, like if the ball came to me, because I didn't want to mess up. I didn't want to mess up for my team. And ironically, that comes from probably not having to be in a pressure filled situation that much. And so when I was like, please, I don't want the ball to come to me. And so fast forward to when I did start to gain a lot of weight, which was around puberty. And so between seventh and ninth grade, I don't know how, when, but looking back now, I realize during those 3 years, seventh, eighth, and ninth grade, is when I gained a tremendous amount of weight. And I basically been wearing a women's size 14 since I was 12. And that once I got older and a little more conscious of what's going on, that's when I definitely was like, oh, well, one of the reasons why you're not valuable in sports is because you're fat. You cannot run very fast. And since most, if not all, of youth sports they're aerobically based, meaning they're about cardio stamina, they're about running really fast, they're about running really fast for a long time. And I was never, ever a runner. I was never a fast runner. I was the person who was 8 steps behind. Even even the toughest coaches that I had, they wouldn't let anybody slack off, but I would be so far behind the rest of my teammates when we were, running half a mile around the field to get warmed up, that they would just call me and say, Rob, it's all right, like you just skip this last part, just come in, or there would be the team captains who would, out of, I don't think it was out of guilt because they were really good people, but definitely like stopping, slowing down, and waiting for me at the end. And I noticed that my running pace was slower than their walking, and I definitely had those feelings all through high school. Although high school things did start to change a little bit, even before that when I found softball. So softball was a game changer for me. It certainly didn't heal what had happened for my childhood, but because that is not based entirely on running, and then there's power involved. So now, hitting a ball far is that's a really cool thing, and not just how fast can you run chasing the ball. That's certainly there too, but this is just I can run in a couple of spurts. I can get from first to second base. Again, not the fastest, but I could do some shit. So that was definitely that was definitely a boost, and it definitely helped me see that I can do some good stuff. And you know, and even before softball, I played soccer. I played soccer and softball all the way from 5th to 12th grade. And soccer, um, I was defense, I was sweeper. So again, it was the position that required the absolute least amount of running besides goalie. And you know, I did have some slight success in that I could kick a ball really far. And if anybody has ever seen my legs, you'll probably see why I can kick the ball really far. So I was, you know, that's where my athletic self-esteem is rooted in. It's rooted in, you know, I love playing sports and love being a part of it, but you know, the reality also is that I cemented some really horrible thoughts and thinking patterns and assumptions from such an early age that it wasn't until I got to my late 20s and tried to dig them up that I realized just how deep those roots were. And now let's fast forward to pole dancing, and I want to talk about some of the things I've seen in pole in regards to self-esteem. First of all, weight. I mean, weight is not limited to pole dancing. Good God, it's not limited to women either. That is almost everybody on the damn planet. But when I started Dangerous Curves, it's the first and I believe it's the only pole dancing competition for plus size dancers specifically. So that's mostly people who wear a double digit. Shop at Lane Bryant. You know what Lane Bryant is. You know what Eloquy is. And you know why you can't shop at Forever 21. At least not the regular size, but the plus size section. Bomb! Anyway, so what what this wild thing happened is I would have so many people ask me on the DL, Roz, can I be in Dangerous Curves? I'm kind of overweight here. I'm the biggest one in my class. And the people that were asking me weren't people who I would ever in a million years assume were plus size. You know, and that's not me just kind of being nice. That is literally, you know, there's a difference when I'm saying the words plus size, we're thinking about weight and people who are larger and overweight athletes. There's a difference between I'm 165 pounds and I feel chubby or I look chubby and I am 275 pounds, 300 pounds, 425 pounds. And when you are 2 and 3 times the size of other people in that same class, you know, that's a totally different thing that we're talking about. And I have been, you know, in regards to weight, I've been really careful trying not to put an exact number on plus size because it just leads to a whole big internet drama that I don't care about. But the main thing, as I said, that I saw was people who couldn't, who had no weight issues whatsoever, had no business thinking that they were even kind of fat, kind of plus size, kind of overweight. They were trying, they wanted to be considered athletes, to be in the competition. And I thought to myself, this is fucking madness. You're trying to convince me that you're big enough to be a part of this, but at the same time, if you really were big enough to be a part of this, you probably wouldn't have to ask. And so I just thought that was so interesting in regards to self-esteem and how people view themselves and this idea of body dysmorphia and all of that. I have noticed, and this probably goes more than anything else, and I'm sure you guys out there can relate, especially with polars, is I don't know how many of you have left class in tears, crying, sobbing, or maybe you didn't leave class in tears, but when you went home that night and you were in bed, you cried yourself to sleep because you weren't and you're not, and you don't feel like you will ever be at the place where you're a real athlete who's got real value, and you look at everybody else who is doing real athletic things, and you don't feel like you're that person. You're not up to their standard. And you, let's ignore 95% of what you're capable of. We're not gonna put value, and we're not gonna put um we're, we're not gonna we're not gonna give recognition to the hours you spend at the gym, the commitment that you have made to a healthy lifestyle, the successes that you've had. But instead, we make the conscious decision to harp on that 5% of things that hasn't come yet. There's tricks that we just keep trying, and it brings so much sadness, and that is heartbreaking. It is. I'm the number one culprit of it. I spent years crying myself out of class. I've cried in class sometimes, and just hit it with sweat. So I'm actually gonna pause for a second because I feel like, Melly, I see you wrote something here. A lot of people dwell in the in between, which is a sucky place too. Damn right. Because you deal with feelings of exclusion. You don't fit into any group, not skinny, not athletic, not plus size. Through hard work, you decide that this is a beautiful thing. Melly, what an important comment to bring up. This, because there is this average sort of size, or this average person that I think gets lost sometimes. And because I think you clearly know when somebody is super slender, super athletic, and you clearly know if somebody is plus size or overweight. But the people that are in the middle that you're addressing, they're just kind of like, "Oh, what happened?" And I think to an extent, we have lost reality. Not to an extent, we've lost reality that being average is okay. From a young age, it's drilled into us like, be above average, do whatever you need to do to be above average. But the reality, how that works out, once you leave childhood and get into adulthood, average doesn't automatically mean bad. It doesn't, it just means you're one of the gang. And man, does that message get lost. And that is frustrating. And so for all those people that are just middle of the road for all the women that are middle of the road athletes, that's where we forget the value of average. And that average isn't this horrible thing that you failed. Average does not mean fail one way or the other. It just means you're alive. You're there, damn it. Marga, I see you. Love that, Melissa. So true. Oh my gosh, isn't it so true? So is. So now, all right. So we know this is it, and we don't need to get into. Well, I just don't care about getting into media hype and the images are fair, blah 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 blah. Because I just feel like that conversation's been had 800 times, and you guys are gonna know it. But oh wait a minute, time out. Before I go, Melly, amen. Invis invisible syndrome. Oh Jesus, invisible syndrome. And that reminded me. I don't know. Are you guys familiar with the imposter syndrome too? If you're not, quick, super, super generalization. Imposter syndrome is when you have some level of success, no matter what it is, you tied your shoe or you're president of the world. And instead of recognizing that you are the primary cause of that success and taking the credit for that, you find a way to explain it out. You say, well, I got lucky. It was just I won the election because the other people running against me were terrible. It's not because I was a good candidate. It was because I was the best choice out of all this crap. I was able to nail that Iron X because it was luck. Not because I worked really hard. It was just, I just happened to be dry that day and sticky and I got it. Or yes, I got, a 95 on a test, but it should have been better and it could have been better if I would have studied more. So, like I said, generalizations about imposter syndrome, but it's always, I mean, maybe it was good, but it either could have been better, it should have been better, or it damn sure wasn't successful because of you, because you're not that special. That's not you. So thank you for bringing that up. Okay, so we know this exists. What the hell do we do about it? The another $1 million question is, where do we go from here now that we've seen what's happening? There's a few things that give me a lot of pleasure in doing, and I hope they will for you too. Number one, if you're unable to find the light in yourself and light up your own self-esteem and seek it, then the next best thing you can do is to seek it in someone else. I'm not talking about going to find your self-esteem in external things. I'm talking about helping somebody else give them a step up, give them an emotional boost. If you're not able to do that, don't know how to do it for yourself, but you know it's important to do and you need practice at it, practice on somebody else. There is not a damn person, maybe except for Donald Trump, that doesn't need to hear, that doesn't need support from the squad. And as much as the self-esteem needs to come from inside of you, I think there is something that's really important about getting external support while you try and build yourself up. And that is, never, ever have I paid someone a compliment and explained to them why, they were important to me or the good things that I saw in them. I never once regretted doing that, ever. Even, to ex-boyfriends. Well, one, because there's only one ex. But I find so much value in helping other people find their own. And finding their own light and helping somebody else boost their sense of self-worth doesn't mean that you have to just shove praise down their ass all the time or up their ass, because that's not going to do anything either. It's not going to make a huge difference. What you can do though is to, when you see something that you like about that person that's positive, particularly in an athletic setting, tell them. Don't wait until they ask you. Don't wait until they are showing, until they're like visibly having a breakdown. Even if you don't know that person, please do not hesitate to tell them, dude, your talent, I saw that backspin. Whoa! I've been trying to do that forever, and it's been tough. And if it's something physical that people are doing, tell them, like, can you show me how to do that? Damn it! Because nothing makes you feel more special when you feel like you've got something to contribute. This is I find within myself and with others that one of the reasons why it's hard to have self-esteem is when you feel like you're a part of a community and you don't have anything good to add to it. You feel like you're just taking, but you're either not doing anything with what you are taking, or you're not you can't add to it. You can't, or you just feel like a leech. And even if it's not to the entire community at once, adding to one person, adding to their confidence in themselves, helping them to see themselves in a way that other people, or helping them to see themselves in a way that the outside world sees them, but maybe they don't see yet. That is so important, and it makes such a big difference. And if this person is reluctant to hear those compliments, they're going to fight you on it. Oh, why is my hand raising? Oh, do I do that? Oh Tell them anyway. Tell them anyway and call them out on their shit. When they turn into imposter syndrome and you say, oh man, that was a good spin. Oh man, but did you see my other side? It was horrible. No, shut the fuck up, bitch. You're gonna take this compliment and just sit with it. Sit with it. And that actually brings me up to another point of learning how to sit in discomfort. And sitting with your, and I don't mean literally sitting, but I could mean that. Just being in your discomfort is that is a skill, that is a test of patience and everything that goes with it. Because if you are struggling with self-esteem, one of the hardest things to do is to sit with your imperfections, because you may be concerned that your imperfections or your perceived imperfections are the reason why you don't have much value and you can't add value to athletic communities. But no, no. This is where it comes back to average is okay. Not everybody has to be a superhero all the damn time. You don't have to score every winning goal. You don't have to win every competition that you go in. That's not going to necessarily always add to things. And it certainly, if it doesn't add to you, it's not going to help anybody. And it certainly isn't going to help you try and build that self-esteem. So I'm going to pause for a second. I see Melly. Yes. Yes, the best feeling ever, building others up. Oh my gosh. So I know, I think Melly teaches. Marga, tell me, do you teach at all? If you do, just comment what you teach in there. I'd love to hear it. Well, I think one of the reasons, probably the number one reason why I love teaching is because I get a free pass to drown people in optimism. And it is my favorite thing about it. My favorite thing about teaching is boosting others up. And, sometimes as a student, you might feel awkward doing that, especially people you don't know. But when you're a teacher, that's your damn job, is to boost up everybody in the class, no matter what they're doing or no matter what they're doing. And so I get a pass. It's not awkward when it comes to me. Well, it is, but I don't care because I'm a teacher. I can tell you you're wonderful. Oh, yay. Oh, yay. And that stays with your students. It stays with your students, and it will come back to you tenfold. And especially that will come back to you at times where you're not even seeking it, but you need it. As leaders, we're not invincible. We need support, especially if you find yourself in a position of always supporting other people. And our self-esteem takes a hit. Mine is thoroughly underdeveloped, and I'm terrified to go out and find it because then I've got to do stuff that doesn't make me comfortable. I've got to learn how to sit in my own discomfort. I know how to do it, but I don't want to still. And that's some shit. But as I said, as a teacher, I think one of the most important things, besides not letting anybody die in class, is to make sure that every single person leaves that room knowing that you appreciated their time and that you saw them hustling, you saw them trying to be a better person. Damn it, that's why your students will come back. That's why the students that can't do shit, they are just disasters at everything. That's what's going to keep them coming back to your class, because they're seeking your energy. They see the light that you want to give to other people, and they want to give that back to you. So I'm going to pause for a second. I see we got some comments here. I did teach pole for a while. Loved seeing the smile on a student's face when they finally got a move they didn't think they could get. It was so special to be a part of them realizing their own awesomeness. Oh shit! Instructor for 7 years, pole owner for 1.5. My pole baby's everything. Damn! So between Karen and Margaret here, we clearly have got a lot of experience. And, I think I'd actually like to turn this and really talk about self-esteem maybe as a teacher, since it looks like we've all got that experience. And now we have Mr. Deal joining us. What's happening, Philip? To get you caught up, we are talking about different ways that you can help your athletes, not even just STEAM at this point, just period. The people that are around you, how you can build up your own self-esteem, and if you can't do that, how to help somebody else do that. And damn, instructor for 7 years, Karen. I'm hyped about that because I've got 5 years down teaching, so I think I'm cute, but 7 years is for real. I do think, what I would love to hear from you guys actually is if there are particular areas of your self-esteem or things that, being a teacher, do you think it comes with extra pressure to be confident all the time? And how, one, are you confident? And if it's cool if you are, please tell us clearly, tell me um, how you think your confidence as a teacher manifests itself, and how does that affect your surroundings and your students. And so we talked about finding that light in other people and helping to boost up their self-esteem, and also talked about learning how to sit in your discomfort. And I think I actually want to come back to this point because it is generally accepted that if you are a cis woman, that the noble thing is to take care of others, and of course, and to put them first. So we get really good at that. I mean, we're fucking awesome at playing mom, grandmother, teacher, Jesus, Buddha, whoever we are. But we're not, because we have not practiced how to do that for ourselves and to take care of ourselves and see the value in ourselves just as much as we see the value in our spouses and kids and students and whatnot. It makes sense that we suck at it. Absolutely suck. It's because you haven't practiced it. It's, when people tell me like, oh, you've got so much to be confident in, Roz. And yes, but for me, it still like freaks me the hell out because I I just, man, I'm not okay with me praising me because I have this fear. What if I'm wrong? What if I'm wrong and I walk around this world with my shit don't stink and like, yes, I am, and then everybody's laughing at me behind my back because they're like, do you see this bitch? She thinks she's actually good at something? She thinks she's pretty. What? Fuck out of here. That is an asinine scenario, but that is 100% how my mind functions. And which is why the idea of, and you know what, actually pause for a second. I'm also good, really good at cutting myself down. I know how to do it well. I know how to wade in my misery, and I know how to shut off the part of myself that tries to maybe repair some of this negative thinking. Because I'm comfortable doing what I'm doing. I'm not saying that it's right, but I've learned how to be comfortable being a huge bitch to myself. And so now the idea that I have to step out of that comfort zone into this self-esteem thing. It pause, we got some comments here. Ha ha ha, Millie. Yes, so as a person, I'm super confident. I love my body, but as a pole professional, I have insecurities. Fucking ditto. I don't understand what it's like to separate realms of self-esteem. I don't, oh, I'm sorry. I don't understand why it's like two separate realms of self-esteem. What an amazing point. I want to talk about that, but let me get to some other stuff here. Philip, I have terrible self-esteem. Fuck me too. I had to embrace who I was to gain love for myself and stop comparing myself to others. And following up with that, yes, Philip, I totally don't do the comparison thing. And I religiously praise myself and body, but a thought I harbor is that the world doesn't see me the way I see me. Last but not least, here we've got I've always struggled with low confidence, but I think it's made me a better teacher because I can so strongly to relate to a student's own doubts and insecurities and smother them with the love and encouragement I would have liked to have had. Guys, these are, first of all, thank you for being so honest because this is a hard thing to talk about, and especially in a bunch of random people right now on the internet. But I completely agree with all the things you guys are saying. And there's two realms of self-esteem. Isn't that crazy? You know what? It's not actually that crazy because I'm trying to think how what I see in other people. I think it makes sense. I think it's okay that if loving your entire self, not just pole and athletic self, is that's a hard thing to do. Maybe pick certain things. Start with one topic at a time. It's similar to what you guys are saying. As a pole professional, I'm insecure as a motherfucker. As a pole teacher, though, you can't fuck with me. And it's not because I think I'm the best teacher in the world, but I know my students are my world. Without them, there is no teacher, Mama Roz, teacher diva, that nothing. There's none of that. And I take an extraordinary amount of pride in my teaching skills. But there's a reason why I don't compete. I don't attempt to compete. I no, because I refuse to put myself in the same category as, my friends at Body and Pole, quite frankly. And I see them competing and I say, that's not happening, boo. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Let me see, we got more coming in. So when I'm on the pole they're teaching, I sweat confidence. Off the pole, a completely different story. Oh, Jesus. So, not to get this into a whole another realm, but I would say teacher, employee, former career coach, that Roz, straight chillin'. You want me to be topless on the internet? Cool. You want me to run around my ass out while everybody else is wearing pants? Bring it. If you want me to go up to one man in one bar and say hello, I will run away like a little bitch faster than you can shake a tail at. And I that like I said, I'm not even gonna get more into that because that could be a whole nother 8 years worth of webinars on its own. But certainly that's a whole bunch of shit. And especially now that we're talking about different areas and how your self-esteem kind of ebbs and flows. And I guess it's kind of crazy now that I'm talking about it and I'm hearing what you guys are saying about your own self-esteem and confidence and journeys getting there or trying to get there is, maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay that not everything I do I'm super confident in at the moment. And no, I think the other things they'll come if I actually let them one day. But that's okay if you don't have everything right now. I also think it is I think it is incredibly important that you leave space in your mind and in your heart to fuck this up. So one thing, and this is for everybody who's teaching out there, totally steal this. It's going to change the entire whole class, or any class that you teach. I start every class now, no matter what level I'm teaching, telling my students, you have every right to screw up. I'm talking about royally fuck up. I already know the questions you're going to have. I already know you're not going to know what the hell is going on. I expect that as your teacher and I welcome it. Bring me all of your hot messiness. And the wildest shit started happening. Once I started doing that, it was like the entire room took a big exhale. I say this one room, I meant to speak about that plural, but anyway, you know what I mean. I'm just thinking my own grammar police in my head, like, nah, plural, singular, no. But yes, but telling everyone, including people that I've had in class for 4 years, fuck up. It gives people, it's like you saying, you're okay being normal. And not just to tell yourself and remind yourself be okay, but it is the outside world, somebody externally is acknowledging that you're already forgiven for your fitness sins. And you take what happens when you do that is you take away the embarrassment and the shame that comes with screwing up. And when you do that now, and so much of the self-esteem issues are because you're embarrassed about something. You're ashamed of how you are right now and that you're not in a different place. So as teachers, when we take away that shame, we're taking away a big reason for our students and ourselves to feel like shit. Once we've knocked down that barrier, there are still other reasons, of course, and even with that being said, students are still going to get caught up in themselves. They're still going to feel guilty to an extent, but they're going to know though that of all the reasons why you might not like them, because of them messing up is not going to be that. And they try harder. How about that? They try so much harder when you tell them to fuck it up. And that's when I have seen students make strides so much faster. So much faster. It blows my mind. And people can just woosah. Even if it's just for that time that they're in your class, they can, for that hour, that 90 minutes, that 2 hours, they can take off the weight of insecurity so they can just be themselves. Even if they end up putting those insecurities back on, you have created a place, a culture, a time for them where they can step out of their realities, their reality of being insecure, and they can test the waters of, oh shit, I might be a bad bitch. Let's catch up with some comments here. Yes, I say it all the time. Fall. Please fall. Because it means you are going for it. Woo, woo. It means you uh that means you are leaps and bounds ahead of where I was my first days. It means you are being courageous. I tell my students all the time, that courageous thing, mm, mm, Philip, a person who never made a mistake, never tried anything new. You know what? Go ahead, Einstein. One time. You think he was, do you think he figured out relativity in his second class? No, no. He can figure that shit out for a while. It's, and I think the more that if you're in any kind of position of leadership, whether that's in athletics or otherwise, but particularly in athletics, since that's what the context we've been talking about, is the more you can show your students, those watching you, that you can withstand your own mistakes, you can withstand your own shame and still be alive and be allowed to poll, it's going to give your students and your mentees the room to stand up just a little bit taller about themselves. And it's going to make a difference. I also, in terms of so this is another way to help boost others' self-esteem, and which in turn helps yours. So something silly I do, but it makes a difference, is halfway through every class I teach, I tell everyone, stop, go make a brand new friend, give them a high five, and compliment one of their muscles. It's either that, sometimes I'll say, what is your favorite chicken nugget dipping sauce? What are your favorite smoothie ingredients? Something dumb like that, but I like the compliment somebody else's muscles, because so many of our insecurities as women and as athletes, they're physical, because we're not there, we're not where we should be. And so when the power of somebody else saying, oh, you think your ass is too big? I actually love that ass just the way it is. Now you're changing the dynamic of how that person thinks about themselves, even if it's just temporary. And it's nice. And when people, they can walk away knowing they've got the respect and admiration of other people. Man, and this is another thing. Steal this, teachers. Steal this shit. After every single class I teach, assuming there's not like 9,000 people, everybody comes in a circle. We start doing our cool down stretches. We do shout outs. I say, who wants to give somebody else a shout out today because they did something great? Never fails. People will say, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but that girl with the really cute shorts, you did this spin, you went to the floor, and I loved it. There's other people that would say, man, that guy over there, it's the first time you're the only dude in class with the girls. We're acting really annoying and girly, but you were so great. And the people that hear these, sometimes they get caught off guard because they're so surprised that anybody noticed them. And especially when they spent the whole time trying to be unnoticed. So now that they see, now that it's like, oh God, you saw me. Ah! But again, you're taking away the barriers of shame, or at least starting to take away the barriers of shame and embarrassment that builds up. And so people now, they get to walk away from your class knowing that somebody else, maybe even somebody they never even met beforehand, admires them and respects them. Man, that I've had students the next day on Facebook write saying, man, I woke up today and I remember that somebody yesterday at the end of Roz's class told me I had nice shoulders and I felt great. I can't even tell you what that does for me, and what did it for her too. it was just so wonderful. And it's also a really nice way, besides building up your self-esteem and helping to build others' self-esteem, it's a nice way to always end class on a positive note, especially if you're teaching higher levels where people are just getting their ass kicked time after time after time after time. Even those people who appear to be stronger than Teflon, the students that are always going out there and helping others, they need that support as well. I haven't met a single person who said, I'm sorry, I don't want to hear you compliment somebody else ever again, or bitch is crazy, don't know why we did that. No. It is, dude, it's such a good thing. Like I said, steal that shit. Karen, high fives on a regular basis are part of our classes. Fuck right they are. And there are bells at the top of the poles for them to ring when they get to the ceiling, oh my gosh, the bells at the ceiling thing, that is such a great idea because it is a way of saying I am here. It is a physical way of saying I have got literally climbed the goddamn mountaintop. I know there's other studios that the first time people get all the way to the top, they tape a dollar bill onto the ceiling, or there's other people like you don't come down unless you get a picture. There's so many things, and they're all so great. And I remember this is still one of the most profound moments of any pole class, anything I've ever taught was the first generation of pole students I ever taught. It was a diverse group. It was mostly people who had never touched a pole. They were probably closer to my size than what, whatever. Either way, they weren't looking like your typical athletes. When these girls made it to the ceiling and to the top of these 13.5-foot poles, I had to hold back tears in class. For some of it took weeks and months, but watching them like, oh my gosh, I got them there. I helped get them there. It was, I don't think I will ever forget that. I don't want to ever forget that because the fulfillment that I had from seeing other people succeed was beyond anything. And as a teacher, I think Margaret and Karen said this before. Oh, actually, all of you, what am I talking about? As all of you said this before, one of the greatest things about teaching is that you can just unapologetically cheer everybody else on. And I think that's so important. And I'm glad that you guys can see that and recognize that. Yeah. And of course, everyone cheers when you hear a bell. Oh man, do you know what that does for the black sheep of a room I can only imagine when you hit that bell and you hear the thunder of applause coming from beneath you. Finally, I mean, when I got to the top of the pole, I remember in my head distinctively thinking, oh shit, I'm here. Like, oh God, I made it. Oh. And, that gets addicting. That gets addicting, but nothing will impact you and will leave you with something like that. And that is an excellent way for, again, making that person who assumes I'm going to be the black sheep and they've resigned themselves to that role. No, boo-boo, you're with everybody else. Or you just celebrate their black sheephood. Either way, they're in the squad, they're in the family. So just starting to kind of wrap up now. Oh, guys, I was talking too much. I have too much drink left. That's not cute. Starting to wrap up now. Thank you guys for being on my squad. Thank you for metaphorically ringing the bell and showing up to the webinar. I usually do these a little bit later in the week, but this was just, I was free. I didn't want to wait another month or so. I'm trying to do these once a month. And so thank you for coming out and giving me all your energy. These comments are awesome, and clearly I try and make them a big part of the conversation. Especially when there's just a couple of us, then I really can. I read everything and I dig into it. And it is such an honor to me that other people want to hear me babble from my Jennifer convertible couch. So I am so thankful. Big, huge shout out also to Philip. He came to the last webinar on this one, and he threw a couple of dollars my way. If you guys feel so compelled, you go ahead, give me $1 or $2. If don't, probably the biggest thing that would help me is if you can throw up a note on Facebook or any social media and say, you know what, Razai. So I am so appreciative of your time and your effort and just everything you've done to help me get to where I am. And, once you guys have more self-esteem kind of tips and tricks, share them with us. Share them with me, damn it. And I will also share them with you. So to all of you guys out there, I'm going to go and catch up on Game of Thrones now. and or see whatever else is on demand. And love you guys. I'm so appreciative. Hit me on Facebook, rozthediva.com, rozthediva all over the interwebs, and I will catch you on the flip side. See you guys.